So today, if you're like me, you woke up to news about Manchester. In fact, you probably went to bed knowing about it. You see a blurb about Ariana Grande. You wonder, did she bite a donut? Did she do something despicable, just to get in the news? And I got to admit, that's what I thought when I first saw her trending on Twitter. I thought it was something to do with something that pop stars might do in order to get attention. But then when I woke up to re-examine the issue, it was everywhere. Well, it wasn't quite everywhere, but it was a lot of places. Because we wouldn't want to let something like a true terror attack get in the way of talking about Russia. Wouldn't want that to happen, right? So we now know the terror alert in Britain has been raised to maximum as ISIS claims Manchester attack. Now, if you're someone who doesn't believe that these people were killed, if you're someone who believes this was all staged, a hoax, you probably want to stop now and just go do something else, because that's not the talking points. I'm not on that, okay? I'm not on that stuff. I believe these people were killed, these people were murdered, and this was a terror plot. That's what I believe. Rescue workers sift through the carnage outside the arena on Monday night, discovered Mr. Abadi's identification card. That clue led the police to the home he shared with his family on Aylesmore Road in Fallowfield District. The police blew the door off its frame to safeguard against booby traps as shocked neighbors watched. This terror attack was the worst in the history of Manchester, a city of 500,000 people, and the worst in Britain since July 7th, 2005, when 52 people died along with 4 assailants in a coordinated attack on London's transit system. Some of you might recall that. The Islamic State claimed responsibility for the March 22nd attack near Parliament, in which a British man fatally struck 4 pedestrians on Westminster Bridge before killing a police officer. British authorities say they have also broken up terror cells operating around the country. So this is the reason why they have such a high level. They have a critical alert right now across Britain for terror attacks. And I think it's time that we grapple with reality. So as I was preparing for the show, guys, I was watching, I skipped through a couple channels. I look for inspiration. I don't watch mainstream media, but I do look for inspiration in order to kind of pick a victim, so to speak. Like, who's talking the most BS, so that I can level some criticism their way. And the reason why I do that, folks, is not because I just want to mix it up so badly. It's because these people are perpetrating false narratives to unassuming people who sit at home, who don't know that they're being lied to. So it's sort of like I've made it my job, part of my job, to rebut these people. So I stopped on Fox News this time, because when I turned on CNN, they were talking about Russia. They weren't talking about what happened in Manchester. And I wanted to know what the mainstream media was reporting about Manchester. CNN's love affair with Russia was all they talked about, not the victims of this terror attack. Let that sink into your head a little bit. And don't tell me that the reason why CNN wasn't talking about it is because it was a false flag. If you believe that, you need to get your head examined. While I was watching Tucker Carlson, very briefly, he had a former Obama press person. I don't know what this guy's role was. Maybe some of you caught it while flipping as well. A gentleman who had worked for Obama in his White House, was explaining away why ISIS was as dangerous as Russia. Tucker Carlson said something that I think needs to be said again. And look, I'm independent. I call it as I see it. So credit goes where credit is due. And criticism goes where criticism is due. Tucker Carlson said, how many American citizens has Russia killed? How many American citizens has Russia injured. The man could say none. But still, somehow in his mind, he wanted to equate the threat of ISIS to the threat of Russia. And Carlson, to his credit, he said, the threat from Russia is more theoretical. The threat from ISIS is quite literal. In fact, it has a body count. And this man, this former Obama press person, he said something, guys, that I think that should infuriate everyone. He said, we should not judge threat by the number of dead. He said, I repeat, he said you cannot judge threats by the number of dead. We live in a crazy world, ladies and gentlemen. A world of Looney Tunes. We live in a world of clowns. That is precisely how we gauge threats. By the number of bodies on the belt buckle, sir. And if you don't understand that, and if you don't get that, you live in some type of warped democratic bubble. And that's my main criticism. It's not, look, terror attacks are horrible things. I'm not suggesting that there's a single Democrat out there who doesn't feel pain or isn't bothered or isn't somehow impacted in some way when they hear the stories of young girls at a concert being killed by some radical Islamist terrorist bastard. Like, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is when you try to conflate a terror attack to this nonsense rhetoric of Russia hurt Hillary, that's when you got to get off the crazy bus, man. Oh yeah, you got you got to get your ass off the crazy bus now. You are piling too much shit. You got 50 pounds of shit. You're shoving it into a 10-pound bucket. It's too much shit. I'm sorry, folks. It's too much. I gotta curse. I can't go easy. Can you understand what they're saying? Literally saying Russia is our threat because they hurt Hillary, which I don't even believe. Hillary hurt Hillary. But they equated that to this terror attack. I BS you not. I have no reason to lie to you. None whatsoever. The system feeds propaganda daily. And any respectful, let alone journalist, let alone human being that would equate for a second some nonsense, non-evidenced, BS false narrative, fundraising scheme, which is the Russia narrative, to actual death of young people at a concert where, you know what, go fuck yourselves 2 times. And the 3rd time, pinch your nipples while you do it, because you are a scumbag. Period, point blank, get gone. Get gone. My condolences to the family of anyone affected by the Manchester bombings.